Last time I asked you to find the first 5 terms and also the 100th term of the sequence defined by each. Alright, so what did we get? Let's look at it. The first term for A would be A1, which is 2 times 1 minus 1, which is 2 minus 1 equal 1. The second term A2 would be 2 times 2 minus 1, which will be 4 minus 1, which is 3. Alright? The third term is A3. 2 times n minus 1. N is 3, so it's 2 times 3 minus 1, which is 6 minus 1. That gives you 5. The fourth term is A4, which is 2 by n minus 1 gives you 2 by 4 minus 1, which is 8 minus 1, which is 7. Alright? The fifth term is A5, which is 2 by 5 minus 1, and that gives you 2, 5, 10, 10 minus 1, which is 9. Alright, but you are also asked for the 100th term. What is the 100th term? Well, it's just A100, which is 2 times n minus 1, but n is 100, so it's 2 times 100 minus 1, which is 200 minus 1, which is 199. Alright? So, that's what you have. And if you check a textbook, that's what you see, 199. By the way, they got 9999 for the next one. Was that what you also got? Let's look. This was for part A. Part A is done. We're going to work out the answer for part B. For part B now, let's work out part B. C1 is n squared minus 1. It says Cn is n squared minus 1, so C1 will be 1 squared minus 1, which is 1 minus 1, which is 0. C2 would be 2 squared minus 1, which is 4 minus 1, which is 3. What about C3? N squared minus 1. C3 would be 3 squared minus 1. That gives you 9 minus 1, which is 8. And what about C4? C4 would be 4 squared minus 1, which is 16 minus 1, which is 15. Alright? So that's 15 there. So 0, 3, 8, and 15. What about the 100th term? Well, let's see. C100, that's the 100th term, would be equal to 100 square minus 1. What is 100 square? It's 100, which is 10,000 minus 1. So 10,000 minus 1 is 9,999. So you see, you have 0, 3, 8, 15, and 1 and 9,999. 0, 3, 8, 15. Oh, 24 should be there. Oh, I didn't calculate the 5th term. Let's do C5. I missed that one. 5 squared minus 1, which is 25 minus 1, gives you 24. Alright? Now, what do you get for Tn equal n divided by n plus 1? Let's see. Now, Tn, Let's do this one now. T1, the first term, remember, the rule is n divided by n plus 1. So it's 1 divided by 1 plus 1, which is a half. T2 would be 1 divided by, no, 2 divided by, because Tn is T2. 2 divided by 2 plus 1. In this case, 2 divided by 3. So you see that? What about T3? T3 would be 3 divided by 3 plus 1, which is 3 divided by 4, 3 quarters, alright? And T5 would be 5 divided by 5 plus 1, which is 5 divided by 6, 5 sixths. So you see that? Now what about T100? The 100th term. Well, that would be 100 divided by 100 plus 1, which is 100 divided by 101. So that's what we have. Okay? And then finally we have negative 1 to the n over 2 to the n. Negative 1 to the n divided by 2 to the n. So what did you get for that one? Let's erase these things that I have here and work the last one out. Let's erase all of these things here. Alright. So Rn. Let's work it out. R1 would be negative 1 to the power of 1 divided by 2 to the 1. Now, negative 1 to the power of 1 is just negative 1. Divided by 2 to the 1 is just 2. Alright? What about R2? Is negative 1 to the power of 2 divided by 2 to the 2. Negative 1 to the power of 2, same thing as negative 1 squared, gives you, well, in this case, it's going to be a positive 1. Oh, that's what you said. Negative 1 times negative 1 gives you a positive 1. Over 2 square root is 4. What about R3? It's negative 1 to the power of 3 divided by 2 to the 3. What is negative 1 to the power of 3? Well, I hope you say negative 1. Because you have 3 of them multiplied, the first 2 will give you a positive, then that positive times the third, which is negative, will give you a negative. So it's negative 1 divided by 2 to the 3, which is 8. So the answer is negative 1, 8. Then R4 would be negative 1 to the power of 4 divided by 2 to the 4. Negative 1 to the 4 is positive 1 divided by 2 to the 4, which is 16. Alright? Now what about R100, the 100th term? You have negative 1 to the power of 100 divided by 2 to the 100. Now you don't have to try to work out 2 to the 100. That will be a very big number. So we leave it as 2 to the 100. But what is negative 1 to the 100? Well, remember, this is raised to an even power. So it will be a positive. So it's a positive 1 there. So that's what you have. Negative half, positive quarter, negative 1/8, positive 1/6, 1 over 200. So that's what you have there. Alright? So, hope you were able to get them all right by yourself without looking at the answers. And you look at the answers only after you completed all of them. Alright? So, let's continue talking about this topic in the next video.